for Dodger Baseball. KTLA Sports presents Los Angeles Dodger Baseball. Live from Holman Stadium in Vero Beach, Florida, the Dodgers take on the Houston Astros. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Palm Sunday to you, wherever you may be. The Dodgers and the Astros ready to go round and round in Vero Beach. They split 12 games last year. The Dodgers winning 4 out of 6 at Dodger Stadium. Meanwhile, the Astros return the favor in the great indoors of Houston. Left-hander Mike Hampton will be on the mound for the Astros, and he'll go up against Chan Ho Park. Hampton 10-10 last year, 1-0 against the Dodgers, and 2-0 lifetime. Chan Ho was 5-5, no record with the Astros. Houston, a good ball club, 2 games above 500 last year. They have not had a losing record in 5 years, but they are the perennial bridesmaid. Consequently, even though they finished in second place last year, 2 games, a little off the pace, they were 2 games above 500, but 6 behind St. Louis. It cost Terry Collins his job, so they come in here this year with a new look, spearheaded by a local boy from Taft High School, Larry Dierker, as the manager. We'll get to the starting lineups. We'll have it all coming up for you right after this. Dodger Baseball is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, with fares so low that you have the freedom to go places and do things you never thought possible. Fly Southwest Airlines. By Aflac, insuring over 40 million people worldwide. By Farmer John, who provides Southern California with its only strictly fresh, I mean strictly fresh, corn-fed pork and pork products. Farmer John. By Coca-Cola Classic, always in the game, always Coca-Cola. By Nissan, who reminds you that life is a journey. Enjoy the ride. And by the Pacific Bell Network. How will you use it? Well, a very pleasant Sunday, and we welcome you to Holman Stadium in Vero Beach, our final spring training telecast, and it should be a good one, with the Dodgers and the Houston Astros getting squared away with their Sunday best lineups. For the Astros, a team that wound up in second place, 6 games behind the Cardinals, they'll tangle with Mike Piazza and company for the 3rd time this spring. The Dodgers 1-1. 1 game was a tie, and this will be the 3rd and final meeting. The Astros come here with a new face at the helm, and that would be Larry Dierker. Dierker, who will lean heavily on veteran Bill Burton. And Larry, of course, a pitcher in the National League for 14 years, and he takes over for Terry Collins. Dierker had some glistening credentials as a player. He was a 20-game winner. He pitched a no-hitter against Montreal. He was a 2-time All-Star, and now he'll try and get the Houston Astros over the hump. The Dodgers take the field, and an important outing for Chan Ho Park. It is no secret it's been the race of the spring between Chan Ho Park and Tom Candiotti. Candiotti pitched well yesterday as far as he was concerned, but the numbers are poor. Tom's ERA is over 8. Well, Chan Ho has not really seized the opportunity. His ERA is almost 6. So for Chan Ho Park, another chance to impress and another chance for the number 5 slot in the rotation. Let's take a look at the Astro lineup, with Craig Biggio leading off at second base, Bob Abreu in right field, and Jeff Bagwell at first. Derek Bell is in center, and Luis Gonzalez in left. Sean Berry at third, Brad Ausmus behind the plate, Pat Listash at shortstop, and the pitcher is Mike Hampton. When you look at the Astro lineup, you realize they have tried to strengthen the club up the middle. Ausmus, the catcher, Listash at short, and then they moved Derek Bell into center field. The Astros are a ball club that figured to score runs, but they allowed more runs than they scored, setting a mark last year, so the pitching is very suspect. They also had a poor defensive team. The Colorado Rockies, a poor defensive team, and they were right down at the bottom with them. Craig Biggio hitting .292 with a home run and 7 runs batted in against the Dodgers last year. Biggio, a multi-talented kid. And, of course, he will become an even bigger threat on the base paths if the number 2 hitter, Bob Abreu, behind him, can hold that spot. First ball swinging, and he'll hit one foul down the line, and that will go out of play, and the count 0-1. Craig Biggio, a very versatile player. He's batted anywhere from leadoff to number 4 for the Astros. He's had at least 25 stolen bases in each of the last 3 seasons. He was hit by a pitch last year 27 times. That was a club record. That's fouled away. Of course, he was not only hit 27 times, the Astros led the National League in being hit by pitches. They were hit 84 times, and that makes you wonder, were they doing a lot of guessing up there at the plate and paying the price? Breaking ball got him looking, and that's that as far as Biggio is concerned. So Chan Ho gets a pretty good spinner in there to strike him out. Take a look from this angle. Perfect breaking ball for a strike, and down goes Biggio. So Chan Ho gets the first man. Now he looks at the rookie, Bob Abreu. Abreu from Venezuela. 1 ball and no strikes. As far as his numbers in the spring, a home run, 8 RBIs, hitting better than .290. Fouled away. The Dodgers have split 20 exhibition games. The Astros have won 13 and lost 8. Line drive whistled into right center field for a base hit. Butler over to cut it off. So Abreu, a line single, and that will bring up Jeff Bagwell. Bagwell, one of the outstanding young players in the National League, did not do very much against the Dodgers. He had 3 home runs, 5 RBIs, but he hit only .209 against them, and they expect a lot more. Bags in the spring, hitting in the 260s, and he had big numbers last year. One ball and no strikes. Bagwell, healthy last year for the first time in a while, and that was one reason why he was able to put up such good numbers. That's a strike. He actually drove in more runs last year than he did in '94 when he was the MVP. He also managed to play in 162 games last year. There are only 3 men in the major leagues to do that, and the Astros had 2 of them, Jeff Bagwell and Craig Biggio. And the other fella, you know well, played in every game, Cal Ripken. One away, 1 ball and 1 strike. Breaking ball is over, and the count 1-2. And what's nice to see for Chan Ho, he's throwing a breaking ball and keeping it down. One of the top hitters in the game at the plate, and Bill Russell, of course, watching every pitch with great interest and anticipation. Fastball, and Bagwell late fouled it away. Bagwell was the first player to finish first or second in his league in average runs, RBIs, and home runs since Carl Yastrzemski 27 years ago. He was named to his first All-Star team, picked up his first Gold Glove. But, of course, he gets $4.8 million. He's finished 2 years of a 4-year deal worth $27.5 million. He's the big one that got away. He was born in Boston. He belonged to the Red Sox, and then he was sent away in a deal for reliever Larry Anderson. And a breaking ball gets him looking. So Chan Ho strikes out Biggio and Bagwell, and the batter is Derek Bell. So the killer bees so far have been bitten. Chan Ho Park, in 9 innings this spring, had 8 strikeouts. So really, he's had a strikeout an inning now. And here's Derek Bell. We're just starting, so pull up a chair. Fastball missing. 1 ball and no strikes. Bell had a very disappointing year last year. He hit just .263. That's not enough for him. He did manage 113 RBIs, however, even though his average with runners in scoring position were very low. And he bangs that for a base hit. Abreu is on his way to third. Butler has to hurry to get it in, and Guerrero will handle it at the bag. So first and third with 2 out, and the batter will be Luis Gonzalez. 2 hits, 2 strikeouts, and now Gonzalez. We were talking about strikeouts for Chan Ho, about a strikeout an inning. Let's look at his hits. He has allowed, including these 2, 12 hits in 10 innings. Luis Gonzalez hitting .421 in the spring. Gonzalez with 2 home runs, 7 runs batted in. We're in the first inning, 2 on, 2 out. That's pop foul off to the left, out of play. Gonzalez left the Astros in '95. He went to the Cubs, and they got him back as a free agent. Good, solid player. A major league lifetime batting average of .270. Fake at third, a look at first. The most home runs Gonzalez has ever hit, 15. He did it once for Houston, and last year he did it for the Cubs. Ball 2. On deck, Sean Berry. Dodgers slowly finishing up spring training. They'll conclude their work here on Wednesday and fly home. And Friday night, remember, your first look at the ball club at Dodger Stadium against the Angels. Comebacker, and Chan Ho has it, and that's the inning. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left at the end of the half an inning. Astros nothing, Dodgers coming up. As left-hander Mike Hampton tunes up for the Astros, here is the Dodger lineup. Starting off with Brett Butler in center field and Wilton Guerrero with an 8-game hitting streak at second base. Raul Mondesi, who has found a home in the number 3 slot in right field, and then Mike Piazza, Eric Karros, the newcomer Todd Zeile at third. With a left-hander on the mound, Billy Ashley gets a chance to play. Greg Gagne will be the shortstop, and the pitcher, Chan Ho Park. Mike Hampton has been a promising young left-hander, and he's just about ready to blossom into a frontline starter if his shoulder doesn't bother him. He is a very knowledgeable pitcher, but he has been plagued with shoulder problems. Hampton against the Dodgers beat him once last year. He's 2-0 lifetime, and he'll go up against Butler. Right. So Brett Butler whose spring training story continues to amaze, hitting .344. Chopper to shortstop. And Listos takes care of it, one away, and that'll bring up Wilton Guerrero.
Second baseman, number 30, Wilton Guerrero.
Wilton Guerrero has hit in 8 straight. He's hitting .370, and he has done everything you would ask of him offensively. In all honesty, however, he is still pretty shaky defensively. But his numbers tell you that he can hit. Ball one, little sinker, 1-0. Guerrero followed by Mondesi. Fouled away. Guerrero hitting .370 in the spring. He has 8 runs batted in. He has also stolen 2 out of 3. He has shown problems with pop flies, but that might just be a Florida problem, maybe. He drives it to center. Going back to the track is Bell to reach up and make the catch. So Wilton hits it a long way, but out. 2 down. And the batter will be Raul Mondesi. The Dodgers wondered if Mondesi had the discipline to hit in the number 3 slot. And so far, he has shown that he is a disciplined number 3 hitter, hitting .377 in the spring. But it is the spring. Whether he reverts to his old habits or not remains to be seen. Mondesi with Piazza and Carroll's back of him. 0-1. Now he's in a hole 0-2. Mike Hampton, the left-hander pitching for the Astros, pretty much of a steal. He was with Seattle. He was just a baby, 20 years old. Seattle rushed him. Didn't look like he was going to cut it, so they dealt him to Houston for Mike Fielding. And boy, he has shown that he's got a lot of ability. 1-2. Hampton 10-10 last year. In relief, show you what kind of a pitcher he can be. In relief last year, they brought him in with 27 runners on base, and he allowed 8 to score. Put it the other way, better than 2/3. He left the runners out there. Hampton's a Florida boy from Brooksville. No score, bottom of the first inning, 2 out, 1-2 the count to Raul Mondesi. The Astros last year finishing second to the Cardinals. The Dodgers finishing second to San Diego. And both teams knew what it was like to be on top. The Astros were either tied for first or in first place for over 100 days last year. The Astros had a 2.5-game lead over the Cardinals at the end of August. And then they just faded away in September. And the Dodgers know what that's like. 3. The Astros in the month of September last year won 8 games and lost 17. They lost first place. They lost the wild card. They lost their manager. Ball down and away, full foul. Looked like Raul went after a pitch out of the zone, but with 2 strikes, he couldn't afford to take it, and he did get a piece of it. Still 3-2. Kind of a muggy Sunday here in Vero Beach. Hardly any breeze at all to speak of. 3-2. Fouled away. The Astros come in with some problems. Sid Fernandez, his debut was delayed because of high blood pressure. Sid has had a history of arm and leg injuries. So he's been down for a while. Ricky Gutierrez fractured his thumb. James Mouton broke a wrist. There's ball 4. So Mondesi wins that battle. It's an interesting thing. The count was 1-2. He went all the way and wound up getting the walk. However, it should be pointed out that is only the second base on balls that Mondesi has received this spring. He's not allowed to walk, he thinks. Here's Piazza. Mike, a solid .373 in the spring. Leading the club in RBIs with 12. Ball 1. Piazza and Karros to follow. Karros had big numbers against Houston. As far as Piazza is concerned, he hit .549 against Astro pitching. Not only did Mike have 28 hits in 12 games, he had 3 home runs and 11 runs batted in. I mean, he was a one-man gang against the Astros. Breaking ball in there, and the count 2-1. So after getting Butler and Guerrero, he lost Mondesi on a walk, and he's behind 2-1 to Piazza. Little nubber up along third. Tough play. Hampton picks it up. No play. A squib single for Mike Piazza. So the Dodgers have 2 on with 2 out, and Eric Karros will be coming up. Piazza bearing down. Take one look to see that the ball was in play, and I mean, he was digging as hard as he can run, and there was no play. Eric Karros had big numbers against the Astros, so he has an opportunity to continue that. Eric hit close to .360 with 2 home runs and 9 RBIs against the Astros. It's kind of a Karros spring. His batting average, nothing to talk about, .231, but he's second on the club in RBIs with 11. Off speed, and it stayed up. Ball 1, 1-0. That's a strike. No play at second. There's the new helmet with the mask permanently attached. 1 ball and 1 strike. Dodgers won 4 out of 6 from the Astros at Dodger Stadium, but then when they went to Texas, Houston returned the favor and beat them 4 out of 6. Pickoff play at second, and the throw's into center field. So Mondesi will take third. Piazza waits on a useless throw to third. Piazza goes to second. Bad play by Derek Bell. And, of course, that's part of Astros' problems. They made too many errors last year, and although that's not ruled an error, it's certainly an error of judgment because Piazza was not about to move up a notch. So the pickoff play and the error, and on the ill-advised throw, Piazza takes second. Now, during the regular year, and especially the way Karros has handled Houston pitching, with first base open, they might walk him. But not now. Ground ball to third. Sean Berry cranks it up, and Hampton's out of the jam. No runs, a hit, a walk, an error, and 2 left. And at the end of an inning, no score. They are Jaime Jarrín and Rene Cardenas bringing you all the action in Spanish on the KTLA secondary audio program channel and on KWKW Radio, 1330 AM. We're going to the second inning. No score in the ball game. Sean Berry, followed by Brad Osmus and then Pat Listash. Each side leaving 2 men in the first inning. Sean Berry had a big year at Montreal and then came right back and turned in another solid year for Houston, even though he played in pain almost all year. He had a torn rotator cuff in his right shoulder that required postseason surgery. Bad hop, base hit into center. Kangaroo jump over the head of Wilden Guerrero. So Sean Berry, a base hit to center, and the batter will be Brad Osmus. The Astros were a poor defensive team last year, and one of the things they wanted to do was strengthen the defensive alignment as best they could. So they tried to solidify up the middle. They made the deal with Detroit to get Osmus, who is a very good catcher, although questionable as a hitter. And then they got Pat Listash to play shortstop, and they moved Derek Bell to center. Osmus hitting only .206 in the spring, and he really doesn't figure to hit a lot. Although last year he had a solid year for San Diego. He was traded, remember, for John Flaherty, and Flaherty had a great year for San Diego. Osmus, 27 years old. Another thing about the Astros last year, they ran a lot. They were second in the league in stolen bases behind Colorado. However, that was with Terry Collins. We'll see if Durker plays that kind of a game. Come back at the park. He gets one to Gagne, 2 to Karras. Now, normally, with a weak hitting catcher up there, you would expect to see hit and run. And I guess Durker just wants to examine each player. So with no running, he got burned. 1-6-3, and they made that play as if it were the middle of July. So 2 down, and Pat Listash coming up. Listash for Milwaukee, as you can see, hit .240. They think he's a better fielding shortstop than Orlando Miller, and he and Craig Biggio appear to get along better. And of course, a double play combination is a lot like a dance team. 2-1 the count. We're in the second. 2 down, no score. Listash hitting exactly what he hit for Milwaukee last year, .240. Fouled at the plate. 2-2. Houston, a good ball club, a club that has been very successful. They've had 4 straight winning seasons and 5 straight non-losing seasons. That's what has made it so frustrating for them, the fact that they have played well, but not quite well enough. And so Larry Durker and company trying to get them over the hump. There's ball 4 to Listash. That would be the first walk given up by Chan Ho. And the batter will be Mike Hampton. So for Chan Ho, he got out of a first inning jam, leaving 2. Now let's see what happens as he tries to use Mike Hampton as an escape hatch. Ball 1, 1-0. So Berry singled, Ausmus hit into a double play, Listash walks, and a bunt foul, and will land over by the Dodger dugout, and the count 1-1. Chad Fonville comes up with it. It's a big battle down here. You wonder about Chad Fonville as we look at him. And now in looking closer, we see it's Wayne Kirby instead of Chad Fonville. Fonville on our minds because Chip Hale has not done anything. Chip Hale, of course, figured to be the left-hand hitter coming off the bench. But Hale is hitting less than 100 this spring. And Fonville is hitting 300. So whether Hale makes the club or not, he's going to have to do something pronto, I would assume. Two and two with 2 down, second inning, no score. Fastball, but it was up. 3-2 the count. Full count, so Listash goes, and there's a ground ball to Gagne. He has to go the long way, and that's that. A base hit and a walk, a man left. At the end of an inning and a half, no score. Say, friends, remember your first chance to see the 1997 Dodgers will be this Friday, March 28th. The annual Freeway Series begins at Dodger Stadium against the Angels. Call 213-2241-HIT for tickets, or you can visit the Dodger Stadium Advance Ticket Office or the new ETM ticket machines in selected hues, Gelsons, and pavilions. And by the way, that phone line is always open throughout the game. Todd Zeile, followed by Billy Ashley and then Greg Gagne. Zeile hitting .225 in the spring. That's a strike. Todd, a veteran, pretty much on his own. Holds up. Started to go after that sinker, laid off it, and the count 1-1. Sinker low and inside. So Hampton trying to keep the ball down and working it in and out. And he's behind 2 balls, 1 strike. No score, bottom of the second. High fly ball into left center. Gonzalez and Bell, but it's Gonzalez play. 1 away. That'll bring up Billy Ashley. Ashley, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs, but hitting under 200. Billy has 3 home runs and 41 at-bats. Piazza has 2 home runs and 52 at-bats. Eric Karros has 3 home runs and 53 at-bats. So Piazza and Karros have 12 more at-bats than Ashley. One and one. No score, bottom of the second inning. A comebacker, nice play by Hampton to stay with it, and we have 2 down here in the second inning. Everything about Hampton impresses you. He's not a big man. He's 5'10", about 180. Good fielder, good hitter, and a good pitcher. Keeps that ball down. And at his age, in his very early 20s, one of these days he's going to have a big year. That doesn't seem right. One of these days a big year, but he might do it. Here's Gagne. Ball one. Gags has had a very impressive spring. Started off with a sore shoulder, but he's hitting .355. 2-0. Chandler Park due up next. No runs, 3 hits for the Astros. No runs, 1 hit for the Dodgers. High fly ball into right center. Abreu on the dead run picks it off. Dodgers gone in order, and at the end of 2, no score. We go to the 3rd inning. No score in the ball game. The Dodgers and the Astros. Mike Hampton, Chan-Ho Park. Dodgers have split 20 spring training games. The Astros are 13-8. Ball one. Second time around now for Craig Biggio. That's going to be hit foul. 1-1. Bill Russell at the helm and has his ball club just about where he wants it. Fouled away. We mentioned that Biggio played in every game last year, but he has to be prepared. He straps a protective brace around his left ankle, extra padding around his left elbow. So he's taken plenty of knocks, but he checks in every day. High drive into right field, and Mondesi going away back to the track now to pick it off right near the fence. Long fly ball to right, 1 away. You know, this day in Dodger history, May 23rd, 1951, the Brooklyn Dodgers signed a 21-year lease with the city of Vero Beach, Florida, for use of their spring training facilities. And the Dodgers have trained in Vero from 1948 and ever since. They eventually bought the property. Breaking ball, strike. Abreu at the plate, the young right fielder who could mean a great deal, hitting behind Craig Biggio and hitting in front of Bagwell. Nice off-speed breaking ball for a strike. 0-2 the count. So Abreu from Venezuela. Fouled away. A lot of things that plagued Terry Collins figured to plague Larry Dierker, starting with the pitching. The Astros staff had an all-time high in ERA last year, well over 4. The team was woeful defensively. And so Bob Abreu, among others, brought in here hoping to, with an infusion of talent, to get things squared away. Foul back. And just to completely complicate matters for Terry Collins, the Astros were last in the National League in pinch hitting last year. So Dierker really has his work cut out for him. He said the other day he had a meeting with the club, and he said, look, things are going pretty well for you right now. But, he said, there's not enough intensity. I mean, so far you're walking up, getting your base hits and making the play, but I want to see more intensity. It is this time of the year now, the last week in Florida, where every manager will somewhat go to the whip Oh, that one is drilled. There's no doubt about it. Abreu hits it out over the hill in right field. It looked like a hanging curveball, and Abreu drives it over the right field wall, and the Astros take a 1-0 lead. Abreu gets the Astros on the scoreboard. Jeff Bagwell will be the batter. Take a look at the pitch now. Just a high fastball, and Park, annoyed at himself, stared up at the sky. He's been keeping the ball down until that pitch. Now he overcompensates. 1 ball and no strikes. But it shows you the big leagues. You get a fastball up, and these fellas hit him out. That looked like a changeup that stroked into left field for a base hit. So Chan Ho has given up 5 hits and a run, and the batter will be Derek Bell. So Mike Piazza talking to Chan Ho Park. A couple of things about Chan Ho, and it figured. He is young. He gets very excited. Really tries too hard, especially early in the game. He tries to make perfect pitches. When he's throwing on the sidelines, he moves the ball all around, inside, outside. But when he's in the game, he has a tendency to get that ball over the plate all the time, and you get burned. Fouled away. So Derek Bell trying to keep it going. He singled in the first inning. So Bell comes up empty after that big swing. Of course, Derek Bell is the one man left over from that big 11-player deal with the Padres. The Astros don't have very much else to show for it, and San Diego has Ken Caminiti and Steve Finley. 1-2 the count. Bell had gone to San Diego from Toronto. One time in the Little League World Series, he was a teammate of Gary Sheffield. It's a long time ago. Derek's from Tampa. Breaking ball hit foul, and it's still 1-2. Bell is not a home run hitter, but last year he roared back and had 17. The year before, he had only 8. First year in San Diego, his major league high, 21. Breaking ball got him. So that's the second out. It is also the 3rd strikeout for Chan Ho Park, and the batter will be Luis Gonzalez. Gonzalez hit back to the box in the first inning. That's hit in the air into shallow left field. Ashley trotting in. Billy puts it away. So 1 run, the home run by Abreu. 2 hits and a man left. The end of 2.5. 1-0 Houston. You know, there's never been a better time to join the prestigious Dodger season ticket family. You can view your locations today at the Dodger Stadium Open House from 11 until 3. At 12:30, Steve Garvey, Ron Say, and Maury Wills will be on hand. So for details, call the season ticket line 1-800-6-DODGERS. Remember, that line open throughout the game. Line drive, base hit for Chan Ho Park. He got that low fastball and went with it. The Dodgers' second hit. Astros lead 1-0, and the batter, Brett Butler. Butler grounded to short in the first inning, 0 for 1. One run, 5 hits for the Astros. No runs, 2 hits for the Dodgers. Full swing and a foul ball, and that took a bite out of Butler and timeout. 0-1. Charlie Strasser coming out to make sure he's okay. It looked like it glanced off Butler just under the cap or hat. Yep, right there. But he's okay. No balls and 1 strike to Brett. And a little drag bunt. Hampton, a sliding pickup, throws it away. By the time Listash and Abreu go down to get it, there are runners at second and third. And so Butler does it. Butler lays down a dandy. Hampton making a sliding pickup and then threw it away. It might be 1-1. And Larry Durkin now is coming out, and he's going to find out, I'm sure, whether Butler was running in the proper lane or not. Durkin's not really arguing. It looks as if he is just asking. Look at Butler. You see he's running inside the lane. During the regular year, he could be called out for that. So second and third, and it'll be a base hit, 1-1, a bunt single and the error. And Dodgers at second and third with nobody out. Guerrero, Mondesi, and Piazza coming up. So Hampton has made 2 errors. Right. Guerrero fly deep to center. He has an 8-game hitting streak. Wilton is listed at 145 pounds. Breaking ball, good slider in on the hands. So Wilton trying to make it with the Dodgers. His brother Vladimir trying to make it with the Expos. And then what a story if each man battling for Rookie of the Year honors. Charlie Stroud making sure that Guerrero's okay. Down the line at third is Chan Ho Park, shepherded by Amalfitano, and Butler away from second. Nobody out, 1-0 Astros, bottom of the third. Fouled away. Wilton Guerrero started this game hitting .370. And in the number 2 slot, he has 8 runs batted in. Ball 1. Ran that thing right in at the kneecaps. In the inning, Park single to right. Butler a drag bunt single that was thrown away by Hampton to put runners at second and third. And Guerrero now trying to pick somebody up. On deck, Raul Mondesi. fires that ball over the head of the drawn-in Gonzalez, and it is off the fence. In comes Park, in comes Butler on a long double by Wilden Guerrero, and the Dodgers take a 2-1 lead. That's 10 RBIs for the kid second baseman. So he's right up there with Karras and Piazza. There's no doubt about it. He has proven himself. He can hit. So Guerrero doubles in 2. He is now hitting 9 straight. And the batter, Raul Mondesi, who walked in the first inning. Only second time this spring he has walked. Change away, ball 1. On deck, Mike Piazza. One and 0. Fastball, and that's hitting to right center for a base hit. Guerrero will score easily, and just like that, the Dodgers have scored 3 and take a 3-1 lead. It was all set up. A base hit by Chan Ho, and then the drag bunt single by Butler. Let's take another look at Guerrero's hit. And he stung it. He just got right on it. And you can see he got the entire 145 pounds behind that. That right foot coming off the ground as he hit it over the head of Luis Gonzalez. Here's Piazza. 3 runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers. 1 run, 5 hits for the Astros. Remember, we were telling you the Astro pitching staff gave up too many runs last year. Had an ERA of almost 4.5, and that's very high in the National League. In the American League, it's not so high because of the influence of the designated hitter. 1-0 to Piazza. Ball 2. 2-0. Mike with 2 home runs, 12 runs batted in. Now he has to count his way, 3-0. Piazza has walked 3 times in the spring. They might give him the green light here, 3-0. Taking all the way, 3-1. Hampton trying to keep an eye on Raul Mondesi, thinking the Dodgers would play run and hit. Mondesi, of course, has good running speed. He has stolen 1 in the spring. He might be going 3-1. Yep, there he goes. And a shot up the middle. So Mondesi just keeps on going. And just like that, the Dodgers have runners at first and third. And that's 5 consecutive base hits for the Dodgers. Timeout for the moment now. There has to be a little counseling taking place as Larry Durker has to be troubled talking to Bill Burden. Vern Rule, who had one time pitched for the Astros, he pitched for Houston from 1978 through 84. And Vern is now the pitching coach. In fact, an entirely new staff for Houston. Alan Ashby handles the bullpen. Jose Cruz and Mike Cubbage are coaches at first and third. The hitting coach is Tom McCraw. The bench coach, Bill Burden. And the pitching coach, Vern Rule. So the Dodgers on a tear here, 5 consecutive hits, leading 3-1, and they have runners at first and third and nobody out, and Eric Karros at the plate. And a stumble on the mound. Hampton almost fell down. He just did manage to get the ball accurately enough to Brad Osmus. He almost took a header. Just here, you can see him buckle and stumble, but he didn't throw it away. 1-0. And that's whacked into right field. 6 straight hits. Mondesi scores. Piazza stops at second, and the Dodgers lead 4-1. So it has been a chain reaction. Chan Ho Park began it, and it shows no sign of slowing down. 4-1 Dodgers, and Todd Zeile the batter. So 2 on, and Zeile at the plate. Fouled away. 4 runs, 7 hits for the Dodgers. 1 run, 5 hits for the Astros. Zeile flied to left in the second inning. Billy Ashley on deck. So Chan Ho Park, his base hit to right field started everything. The first of 6 consecutive hits. Two and 1 the count. We're in the third. Hope we'll see you Friday night at Dodger Stadium with the Angels. Ball 3. And of course the season opens up in earnest April 1 against the Phillies. In fact, when you think about it, Dodgers, according to the schedule, you would figure they've gotten a great break. That's hit in the air into shallow left field. In fact, Listash goes out. So that'll bring up Billy Ashley. The Dodgers opening up the season at home against 3 teams that did not do well last year and certainly don't figure to do very well this year. The Phillies, the Pirates, and the Mets. So the Dodgers hope to get off to a fast start. Billy Ashley hit back to the box in the second inning. 0 for 1. Piazza at second, Karros at first. 4-1 Dodgers in the third. Big breaking ball, ball 1. One and 1 to count to Ashley. So in the inning, Park single to right, Butler a drag bunt single and a throwing error put runners at second and third. Guerrero doubled both men home. Mondesi singled home Guerrero. Piazza singled Mondesi to third. Karras singled home Mondesi. They finally got an out when Zeile popped it up. Fastball, and he was late. So after a couple of sweeping breaking balls, Ashley could not get around on the fastball, and the count 1-2. And he pops that up, back of first, down the line, a trio of Astros. It will be the middleman, and that's Biggio. And the runners have to hold. Nice play by Craig. You know, we have a moment to tell you there's no better time to join the Dodger season ticket family. Remember, you can view season ticket locations today at Dodger Stadium Open House until 3 p.m. And at 12:30, Steve Garvey, Ron Say, and Maury Wills will be on hand. So call the season ticket line, 1-800-6-DODGERS, and the line open throughout the game. So Ashley fouls out to Biggio, and the ninth man to come up in the inning, Greg Gagne. Ball one. So the Dodgers had 6 consecutive hits for 4 runs. Then Zeal and Ashley pop it up, and Hampton trying to get Gagne and end it. 1 ball, no strikes. And that's popped up. And this time it'll be Bagwell. So Bagwell makes the catch, and that's it for the Dodgers. They get 4. Ross will be along in a minute. And at the end of 3, 4-1 Dodgers.
In the Vero Beach area this spring, the Dodgers have had a pretty good spring, especially the last week. They've started to hit the ball, and we saw that here in the 3rd inning with 6 consecutive hits off Mike Hampton. When the Dodgers get home, not only do they face the Angels Friday night at Dodger Stadium, but they will have their first 9 games this year and 14 of the first 19 at Dodger Stadium. So the Dodgers hopeful of getting off to a good start. 4-1 Dodgers. Let's go to the 4th inning, and Sean Berry ready to lead it off for Houston against Chan Ho Park. John Berry really had a remarkable year last year when you consider he had a torn rotator cuff and didn't have surgery until October. He only played 110 games for the Astros, and he drove in 95 runs. Sean Ho's had a good breaking ball working today, and he jumps ahead of Sean 0-1. Berry, like Eric Karras and Todd Zeal of the Dodgers, attended UCLA. Sean out of the Torrance area. The Dodgers will need a number 5 starter the first Saturday night at home against the Pirates. That's the Jackie Robinson salute night, April 5th. And after that, they don't need a number 5 starter until May 1st. Sean Ho can't get it. Here comes Gagne. And he'll get Berry. So 1 out in the Houston 4th inning. And now that will bring on Brad Osmus, who wrapped into a double play his first time up. Tom Candiotti, Sandy Koufax, and Ramon Martinez. Pretty good pitching right there. Tom has been a great help to Chan Ho Park this spring. They sit together in this booth a lot of afternoons when they're not pitching. And Chan Ho has great admiration for Tom. In fact, he says, I hope the Dodgers don't trade Candiotti. Here's a slicing drive by Osmus, foul, out of play. And Candiotti says, Chan Ho has some of the most awesome talent I have ever seen. He has got to pitch. Park, 23 years old. One and one. And of course, Sandy's taken a lot of time this spring working with Chan Ho on things like cadence, bringing that ball more inside with the fastball. One and two. Darren Hall gets up in the Dodger bullpen, so this could be Chan Ho's last inning. Ramon's going to pitch here tomorrow night in a camp game, Albuquerque, San Antonio. That's lifted foul. Karras will go back, but no play. Ramon Martinez and Hideo Nomo are scheduled to pitch Friday night against the Angels at Dodger Stadium in the Freeway Series opener. Nomo will work here tomorrow against Baltimore. In fact, Pedro Estacio is going to work 1 inning tomorrow in relief, and then he'll come back and start here Wednesday against the Marlins. Park misses with the breaking ball. So the Dodgers getting themselves set. 9 days away from the season opener. That's a sellout April 1st at home against the Phillies. Lifted foul, and this one will drift into the seats. You talk to scouts, and they will tell you that Chan Ho Park has outstanding stuff. Mid-90s four-seam fastball, tight curve ball, sharp breaking slider. He just has to gain the experience. Osmond went too far, and Chan Ho has his 4th strikeout. The first three were members of the Killer Bees, Biggio, Bagwell, and Bell. 2 out now for Houston in the fourth. And here's Pat Listach. Listach coming over from Milwaukee. Pat says he's healthy for the first time in several years. Inside, ball 1. Jono works inside again and misses. 2 balls and no strikes to Listach. That's good for a strike. 2-1. Listach was the American League Rookie of the Year in 1992. Since then, he's had 2 knee operations and 1/3 of a tendon removed. And Sean Ho evens the count, 2-2. Grounded out to Gagne. And Sean Ho has his first 1, 2, 3 inning of the ball game. At the end of 3 1/2, Dodgers 4, Astros 1. Stadium in Vero Beach, nice crowd on hand today, and the Dodgers, thanks to that 4-run uprising in the third, leading the Astros 4-1. Sean Ho Park is going to bow out now, and Nelson Liriano will hit for him. Sean Ho allowing 1 run. It was earned 5 hits. The home run to Bob Abreu in the third inning. Struck out 4, walked 1, and Nelson Liriano comes off the Dodger bench. Nelson has been troubled by a shoulder ailment this spring, limited number of at-bats, and he hits a ground ball to deep short, backhanded by Listach, who sets and throws, and Bagwell digs it out. It looks as if, as you see the Dodger battery, Park and Piazza confirm, it looks as if it's going to come down to 3 players for the final 2 spots in the Dodgers' 25-man roster. Nelson Liriano, Juan Castro, and Chad Fonville. 2 of the 3 will make it. Brett Butler's going to make it. You can count on that. He's had a good spring. Hitting around 350. Got his weight back up to within a couple of pounds of where he usually plays. Hampton misses ball 1. Juan Castro moves to the on-deck circle. So he's going to bat for Wilton Guerrero, who doubled in the first 2 runs in the third inning. Breaking ball outside. 2-0. Hampton's had a tendency to throw inside too much with his 90-mile-per-hour fastball. Also loves to throw a cut fastball that acts like a slider. They want to see him throw more sinkers on the outside corner to right-handed batters and also use more changeup. That's a strike. 2-1. Hampton has never pitched more than 161 innings in a season because of the recurring shoulder tendonitis. Had surgery this past offseason to correct a congenital problem in the shoulder. Nice pitch to Butler, 2-2. Shane Reynolds will start for Houston on opening day this year. Hampton figures to pitch the second game. Darrell Kyle the third. Sid Fernandez, if he's healthy, will be the 4th starter, and probably Donnie Wall, the number 5 starter. All 3, 3-2. Astros have a murderous schedule early. Their first 12 games are with the Atlanta Braves and the St. Louis Cardinals. 2 clubs who made the playoffs last year. They play 5 with Atlanta in the first 8 games of the season. And Butler's on. Hampton's second walk. He walked Mondesi in the first inning. And now here's Castro hitting for Guerrero. Castro didn't play for a while in spring training, but of late he's hit the ball very well. In fact, he's had the best average of the Dodger players going into action today. Castro hitting .412, but that's only 17 at-bats and 7 hits to show for it. Guerrero today doubled and flied to deep center. There goes Butler, and Castro a high bouncer to Sean Berry. All Sean can do is go to first for the second out of the inning. So the Dodgers play hit and run. And they leave it up to Mondesi. Wilton Guerrero has more power when he bats right-handed. And he was right-handed in the third inning when he slugged one for the 2-run double. Mondesi singled home the third Dodger run today. A very good at-bat for Rowell in the first inning to show the patience and the selectivity and finally draw the walk after fouling off quite a few pitches, going 3-2. Ball one, 1-0. Mondesi didn't do a thing last year against Houston. Hit 175 against them and had no RBIs. He loves batting third, and the Dodgers think he's going to be a very good number 3 hitter. 1 ball, 1 strike. 4-1 Dodgers, 4th inning. We'll see the Astros in April. They'll be at Dodger Stadium the 18th, 19th, and 20th. Butler at second, 2 out. Up the middle, but Hampton flags it and probably saves himself a run. Nice play by Mike. At the end of 4, Dodgers 4, Astros 1. Ah, yes. The waves rolling in at Vero Beach, Florida. Dodger Town is about, a 10-minute drive from that spot. Dodgers, of course, have trained here every spring since 1948, played here at Holman Stadium since 1953. Darren Hall is the Dodgers' new pitcher as we go to the 5th inning. The Dodgers using 6 consecutive hits for 4 runs in the 3rd. Darren Hall is kind of on the bubble. Right now, the Dodgers have 12 pitchers battling for 11 spots. You've heard all the speculation about whether Tom Candiotti is going to be traded or not. So far, Tom's still here. And he told me today that Fairclair has not said anything to him, so he assumes he's going to be here. Darren Hall might be the odd man out, according to some in camp. Although he's come back nicely from his elbow injury, and he's pitched well down here. 7 games, ERA 2.7 this spring. Four to 1 in favor of the Dodgers. Mike Hampton is going to pitch a little bit more, so he's allowed to hit. He bounced to short his first time up. Good knee-high strike, 0-2. Darren injured his elbow in a game against the Astros in April last year. Didn't come back until September. Got into a few games. But he says no pain, feels good. And the count goes to 1-2. Hall, 32 years old, a Texan. Went to Dallas Baptist. High calls up, 2-2. Biggio on deck, and then Abreu. The Astros very much in the pennant battle in the Central Division last year, till they went 8-17 in September and lost their last 12 road games. 3-2. As it was, Houston finished only 6 games behind St. Louis, despite the dismal September. The second worst September in team history. Up the middle, over the mound to Gagne. Pitcher running, so Greg has that luxury and throws him out. 1 gone in the 5th inning for the Astros, and here's Biggio, who's been called out on strikes and flied to deep right. Craig really wanted to bat second again this year, but Larry Dierker wanted him at the top of the order just to help the Astros on base percentage, and Craig said either first or second's fine with me. Getting on base is the main thing. He had a tough final month last year, as did his ball club. He wound up at 288, his lowest average in 3 years. He bunts foul. Biggio, the only player in Houston history to score 100 runs or more in 2 straight seasons. So that has to go into Dierker's thinking. Astros don't get you with power. They were last in the league in home runs last year, although Bagwell hit 31. Four to 1 Dodgers, 5th inning. Haven't seen the sun in a couple hours today in Vero Beach. Ball misses inside, 1-1. We mentioned the Astros' first 12 games were against Atlanta and St. Louis. They have another 5 with the Dodgers and Padres, the other 2 playoff teams in the National League, in April. Biggio drives one to left. Ashley going back. Can't get it. Biggio's going to second base. And he's in there with a one-out double. That's the 6th hit for Houston. Dodgers have 7. And now Bob Abreu coming up. Abreu singled and homered off Chan Ho Park. Abreu, the last 3 years in the minor leagues, hit 16 home runs at Jackson, 10 at Tucson, and 13 last year at Tucson. But did he hit the ball today in the 3rd inning? Cleared everything out in right field. Abreu, 23 years old. One of the promising Venezuelans in the Houston organization. I guess there's no team that's cultivated a more lucrative pipeline to Latin America than Houston has through its investment in Venezuela. That's a strike. 8 years ago, the Astros launched that program in Venezuela. They signed 50 players down there, 42 of whom remain active. And the Astros' 3 best prospects are from that country. They've got a 21-year-old outfielder named Richard Hidalgo, who they say is going to be very good. They've sent him out for more seasoning this year, but he is not far away. The Astros also have signed more Panamanians in the 1990s than anyone but the Yankees. Of course, the Dodgers for years have gotten fine players out of the Dominican Republic. 1-2 to Abreu. The Astros signed Bob at the age of 16, and he just moved up slowly through their system. He is considered the best pure hitter in their organization. They think he'll hit around 320 by the time he's through and have a lot of extra base hits, the way he can run. Abreu's had 4 triples in spring training. Had a lot of trouble with left-handed pitching last year. Once he got to Houston in September. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The big question mark for the Astros during the offseason, could Derek Bell play center field? He played the position in San Diego. He played it in Houston a couple of years ago, and Bell volunteered to play center. And that opens up right field for Abreu. They say that Abreu will probably wind up in left field in Houston when Hidalgo is ready to play. Great pitch by Hall, and he strikes him out. Kept it down. So 2 men out on the Houston 5th inning, and here's Bagwell. Park struck out Jeff on a great curveball looking in the 1st inning. He'd done the same to Biggio to start the game. And then Bagwell singled to left field his last time up. Jeff Bagwell, converted 3rd baseman, one of the worst trades the Boston Red Sox ever made, sending him to Houston. Ball 1. You remember Jeff has had his season cut short several years with wrist injuries. Pitchers hitting him as he leaned over the plate. He's missed parts of 3 of the last 4 years. But he played all 162 games last year and had big numbers. 2-0. Bagwell at .315, 31 homers, 120 RBIs, led the league in doubles, led the league in getting on base more than anybody else. Saw more pitches than anybody in the league. And he's a top defensive first baseman, too. 2 balls and a strike. Some of the Dodgers getting on, Jeff. 4-1 Dodgers, 5th inning. Biggio at 2nd and 2 men out. In on the hands and bounced foul down to 3rd. Dodgers and the Orioles tomorrow. Miguel Nomo against Scott Erickson. We'll have it for you in the morning on KBC and the Dodger Radio Network. Game time 9:45. Game time, the pregame 9:45. Game time 10:05. Mets will be in here Tuesday afternoon. the Marlins Wednesday afternoon, and the Dodgers fly back to Southern California after the game Wednesday. Take Thursday off and face the Angels Friday night at Dodger Stadium, with Martinez and Nomo pitching that night for the Dodgers. Bagwell, did he hold up? Apparently so. 2-2. Jeff, with that unorthodox crouching style of his, spreads out like a crab. Open stance. Likes to get those arms extended. Three-two pitch with a runner going. Hit foul down the right field line, back out of play. So Biggio thought Hall neglected him and took off. And still a full count to Bagwell. Houston got a run in the third on Bob Abreu's home run. Dodgers came back for 4 in the third off Mike Hampton. 6 straight hits. Big blow, Guerrero's 2-run double. Mondesi and Karras had RBI singles later in the inning. Another 3-2 pitch. Instead of bluff, and Hall holds the ball. Astros 13-8 this spring. The Dodgers are 10-10 with a tie. And that's ball 4. Bagwell walked 135 times last year, third most in the league. So 2 on, 2 out for the Astros, and Derek Bell coming on. Bell has singled and struck out. Bell had a career best 113 runs batted in last year, but his batting average dropped 70 points to 263. And Hall comes inside, ball 1. Bell barely hit 230 last year with men in scoring position. He, too, had a bad month of September. Great fastball hitter. And he chops one up along third to Zeal, and it's foul by the time Todd gets it. 1 ball, 1 strike to Derek Bell. Wonderful time. If you're a baseball fan, this is the place to be. Nobody to bother you out there. Just take it easy. Take a nap if you want to. Biggio, double with 1 out. He's still at second. Bagwell walk with 2 out. And Darren Hall looking to Piazza, now ready for the 1-1 pitch to Derek Bell. It foul off to the right out of play. Hall used to be with the Toronto Blue Jays. Was the setup man. And Hall strikes him out, and the Astros lead 2. The end of 4½. Dodgers 4, Houston 1. For the 4th straight Sunday, the Dodgers are holding an open house out at Dodger Stadium. It's been going about 40 minutes this afternoon, and it'll be available to you until 3 o'clock this afternoon. And at 12:30, Ron Say, Maury Wills, and Steve Garvey will be on hand. Remember, for details about season tickets, you can call the season ticket line at 1-800-6-DODGER. That'll be open throughout the game if you can't go out to the stadium today. Mike Piazza will lead off with the Dodgers. Bottom of the 5th, 4-1 Dodgers. Mike Hampton has allowed a couple singles to Piazza, and the first one in for a strike. We've seen something here the last 2 days in Florida we probably won't see all year long. Mike Piazza getting infield hits. Yesterday at Vieira against the Marlins, and today against the Astros. 1-1. Karras on deck, and then Zeal. Piazza drives one to center, and it's caught by sliding Derek Bell. So Mike Piazza, who has a .399 career average against the Astros, could easily be 3 for 3 against them today. 1 out for Karras. Eric is grounded to third, singled home a run. Karras at almost .360 against the Astros last year. Ball. Mike Hampton throws across his body quite a bit, and some think that makes him susceptible to the shoulder problems. He certainly had those. Nice pitch outside corner. 1-1 to the Dodger first baseman. One of the Astros' biggest concerns coming into the season is middle relief. That's probably true of most teams in baseball. Ball 2, 2-1. The Dodgers, though, have just tremendous pitching depth, quality depth. Grounded out to Pat Listach. 2 men out. Todd Zeile comes up. He's fly to left, pop to short.
Number 27, Todd Zeile.
Todd has always enjoyed success against the Astros at over .340 against them last year and .320 lifetime, counting his days with the Cardinals and the Cubs and the Phillies. Todd also with Baltimore last year and takes a strike. Zeile had 25 home runs last year in the majors, 99 runs batted in. 1-1. It wouldn't be surprising if Todd's numbers dropped a little bit with half the games at Dodger Stadium. Dodger Stadium was the #1 pitcher's park in baseball last year. Breaking ball inside, 2-1. 4-1 Dodgers. All the scoring came in the 3rd inning. Now we're in the bottom of the 5th. Hope your weekend's going well. Thanks for joining us today right here on Channel 5. And Zeile drives one to left field. That'll be a base hit. Gonzalez over to cut it off. And Todd's got his 10th hit of spring training. That is the 8th hit for the Dodgers today. They've been averaging about 13 hits a game for a week or more. They've won 7 of the last 8. Billy Ashley getting a chance to play today with Mike Hampton on the mound for Houston. Bill Russell saying this is an ideal spot to give Ash some at-bats. Let Todd Hollandsworth rest. Todd's going well. He has a 10-game hitting streak on the line. Ashley takes a change outside. Ashley has hit a sharp comebacker to Hampton and fouled out to Biggio, who made a fine running catch down the right field line in the 3rd inning. Ashley got up to a great start down here, but he has slumped in recent weeks. Ahead of the change, and the count 1-1. Ashley had 5 hits in his first 13 at-bats this spring. Now he's 8 for 43. Again, took a little off. Ash out in front. 1-2. Billy wearing a new contact lens in his right eye. Strike 3 call. Got him with a fastball in the inside corner. First strikeout today for Mike Hampton. At the end of 5 innings, it remains Dodgers 4, Astros 1. Welcome back to Vero Beach, Florida, everybody. I'm Ross Porter, along with Vin Scully and Rick Mundy. 5 innings in the books today. The Dodgers with a 4-1 lead over the Astros. Todd Hollandsworth will now take over for Billy Ashley in left field for the Dodgers. Darren Hall ready for his 2nd inning in relief. And he'll be looking at Luis Gonzalez, Sean Berry, and Brad Osmus. Four runs, 8 hits, and no errors for the Dodgers. 1 run, 6 hits, and 2 errors for the Astros. Bob Abreu of Houston hit a home run in the 3rd. And then in the bottom of the 3rd, Sean Ho Park opened with a single. Brett Butler bunted for a single. There was an overthrow by Hampton at first. Wilton Guerrero doubled in 2. Raul Mondesi singled home Guerrero. Mike Piazza got a single. Eric Karras came up with an RBI single. And the Dodgers on the 6th straight hit scored 4. So they smoothed out the infield, and we're ready to go in the 6th inning. Luis Gonzalez, or Gonzo, as he's known by his teammates, back in Houston after spending some time with the Chicago Cubs. Louis, a good left-handed low ball hitter, contact hitter. Hit 15 home runs last year, 79 RBIs, batted .271. And the pitch, ball one. Antonio Osuna loosens up in the Dodger bullpen. Cubs last year wound up platooning Gonzalez in left field, and he was not really suited for that role. He drives along the right field line for a base hit. Mondesi will have to track it down. And Gonzalez on his way to second. Ralph slow getting to the ball, but Luis will hold up with a double. It's a third extra base hit for the Astros today. Abreu's home run, Biggio's double in the 5th. And now Gonzalez coming up with a double. Louis had 3 hits yesterday against the Cincinnati Reds. So he's hitting the ball very well. 17 for 41 in spring training. That's the 7th hit for the Astros, the 2nd off Hall. Now here's Sean Berry, who is singled and grounded out to short. Ripped foul into the Dodger bullpen area and beyond. 0-1. Berry last year established personal best in virtually every offensive category. We told you he had 95 RBIs and only started 110 games. 17 homers, finished with a .281 batting average, and hit well over 300 with men in scoring position. Sean told me that he's coming back very well from his October rotator cuff surgery. Trying to play 6-7 innings a day. Chases a good breaking ball from there under the count 0-2. Berry used to be at Montreal. Had to play indoors half the time at Olympic Stadium. Moves to Houston, has to play half the time at the spacious Astrodome, and as a result, cuts into his home run totals. 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball, got the inside corner. Strike 3 calls. So Darren has his 3rd strikeout. 1 out on the top of the 6th inning, and Brad Osmus comes on.
Number 11, Brad Osmus.
On the 0-2 delivery, Hall came inside and got at the corner. Brad Osmus today has grounded into a double play and struck out. Osmus known for his defense, coming over from Detroit in that 9-player transaction in December. That's a strike. Most baseball people feel that the Tigers got the best of that deal. They got Brian Hunter, Orlando Miller. Osmus was the key for the Astros. They wanted him to catch. Tony Eusebio will also catch for the Astros this year. Darren, another breaking ball. Jumps ahead again, 0-2. Four to 1 Dodgers in the 6th inning. And this one's popped up. Gagne out, Hollingsworth in. Todd Steele coming and makes the catch for out number 2.
That brings up the shortstop, number 4.
If you're with us on the pregame show today, Todd talking to Rick Monday about communication between the shortstop and the left fielder, and that was a prime example right there. He just kept coming, called Gagne off. Drake got out of his way, and Holly made the catch. Pat Listat's the batter. He's walked and bounced out to short. Liz Tatch, Luis Gonzalez, Brad Osmus, and Sid Fernandez all joining the Astros since the end of last season. One ball, one strike to Liz Tatch. Larry Dierker, the new manager of the Astros, a graduate of Taft High in Woodland Hills and a very good pitcher in his days with the Astros. 121 season, pitched a no-hitter. And Larry's got an interesting theory. He says the best pitchers are the best golfers, and it's no coincidence. Lifted to left field to Hollingsworth. He's got to go back, but Todd is there now. So Darren Hall pitches out of it after the leadoff double by Gonzalez. And at the end of 5.5, Dodgers 4, Astros 1.
No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left.
A Sunday in the ballpark, and the Dodgers leading the Astros 4-1 in Vero Beach this afternoon. Mike Hampton of the Astros went 5 innings in his last outing against Montreal, shut out the Expos on 2 hits. And so he's going to try to stretch it out and go 6 today. Mike had a tough first outing against Cleveland, allowed 4 runs in 2 innings, but since then he has been on. Limited Atlanta to 1 run in 3. Cleveland 1 run in 4. The Mets 1 run in 5, and shut out Montreal for 5. But today had 1 rough inning. The Dodgers jumping on him for 6 straight hits and scoring the 4 in the 3rd. Greg Gagne takes low ball 1. Gagne has flied to right and popped up to first. Gags hit over 340 against the Astros last year. 2-0. Darren Hall with 2 scoreless innings. And the Dodgers apparently will hit for him now here after Gagne leads off. That's a strike, 2-1. Chet Fonville with a bat in hand comes out. Two and 2. We were talking about Larry Dierker's theory that the best pitchers are the best golfers. He says pitching and golf both have a power game and finesse, and you've got to maintain concentration for 3 hours or more. Put the bad luck and the bad breaks behind you and focus. Hampton got out of the way of that one just enough to block it from going through and throws out Gagne. Wow. Now the Houston Trent is going to check on Mike Hampton because that was a shot up the middle. They consider Hampton an above-average fielding pitcher, and he took the blow there. Talk about take one for the team. Only in an exhibition game, but Hampton trying to reassure Larry Dierker and pitching coach Vern Rule is okay, and they don't want to take a chance. They're going to take Mike out. Russ Springer had been warming up in the Houston bullpen anyway, so it wasn't worth it for 2 more outs to leave Hampton in, and he's going to go back to the clubhouse, and Springer will pass him on the way in. So we've got a break in the 6th inning at Vero Beach. The Dodgers are leading 4-1, and we'll return right after this. Not only does Larry Dierker bring Russ Springer into pitch, but he inserts Bill Spires at shortstop since Pat Listach made the final out in the top of the 6th. Spires will probably bat 9th and lead off in the 7th, and Springer will go in Listach's spot, which was 8th. Russ Springer spent his first full season in the major leagues last year, working primarily out of the bullpen for the Philadelphia Phillies. You might remember when Russ pitched with the Angels, portions of 93, 94, and 95. Before that, with the Yankees for 14 games in 1992. Russ, a setup man, a middle reliever, has a good strikeout to walk ratio, but was hit fairly hard last year. In Philadelphia, he was in 51 games, 7 as a starter. Wound up with a 3-10 record and an earned run average of 4.66. He had to leave a game out at Dodger Stadium in May last year due to a strained right groin muscle, and that kept him out of action for 5 games. Wayne Kirby now is going to come up and pinch hit instead of Chad Fonville since the Astros changed pitchers. And Kirby takes a strike. Looks like Wayne has made the ball club. Had a good spring for the Dodgers. Hitting .333, had a half a dozen hits, including a triple and a double, knocked in 5 runs. And takes inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. So Mike Hampton today lasted 5 1/3 innings. He gave up 4 runs, all of them earned. 8 hits, struck out 1, walked 2. 1 bad inning. Kirby pops it up behind the plate. Brad Osmus coming back on the track and one-hands it nicely before he got to the screen. 2 men out. Here is Brett Butler. He has a bunt single and a walk. Also bounced out. Bob Abreu hit a 3rd inning home run for Houston, but the Dodgers came right back in the bottom of the 4th with 6 successive hits off Mike Hampton. 5 singles and a double. The double by Wilton Guerrero chasing home the go-ahead runs. Inside, ball 1. The Dodgers and the Angels Friday night at Dodger Stadium. And remember that open house. 3 more hours this afternoon at Dodger Stadium. Chance to see Say and Garvey and Wills and look at your potential season seat locations for 81 home games. 1 ball, 1 strike to Butler. 1-800 the numeral 6 Dodgers is the number you can call if you're interested in season tickets. Out of play, 1 and 2. If it's individual game tickets you desire at Dodger Stadium, another number 213-224, 1 hit. So we'll see you at Dodger Stadium a lot in the first month of the season. Butler asking for time. Today's attendance 5,180 in Vero Beach. One-two pitch. Butler fights it off. Butler will turn 40 in June. He will be only the 4th center fielder in baseball history to play regularly at the age of 40. Nobody's done it since Willie Mays. And Butler goes down swinging. So the Dodgers out in order. Vin will be back in a moment at the end of 6. Dodgers 4, Astros 1.
No runs, no hits, no errors, none left.
Hi, once again, everybody. Welcome back to Holman Stadium, Vero Beach. A little bit of a cloud cover. The sunblock is not necessary, although come to think of it, we have a lot of people from the east and northeast who came down here for the sun. So today, more comfort than anything else as we go to the 7th inning. The Dodgers comforted by a 4-run explosion that saw 6 straight hits. They've seen some excellent pitching. Chan Ho Park allowed 1 run, struck out 4. Darren Hall has done very well. So leading 4-1, trying to win their 11th game in the spring. The Dodgers ready to head for the 7th inning. With a reminder, remember Dodger Stadium is open right now. If you're interested in season tickets, spend a little time talking to Messrs. Garvey, Say, and Wills. Pick out your location, and the seats are yours. Remember, Friday night, the Dodgers home with the Anaheim Angels. But right now, we're heading for the 7th inning.
Antonio Osuna. At shortstop is number 97, Fred Palmer. And in center field, number 3, Chad Fonville.
The Dodgers making 3 changes here. Chad Fonville is in center for Butler. Trip Cromer is at short for Gagne, and Antonio Osuna is on the mound for Derek Hall. Bill Spires, who came in that 2-for-1 switch, leading off. Ball 1. Antonio Osuna is in his 5th game. As far as his numbers in the spring, ERA almost 7. One now, ball 2, 2-0 the count. Four runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Dodgers. 1 run, 7 hits, and 2 errors for the Astros. 2-1. So 4 innings from Chanahoe Park, 2 strong innings from Darren Hall, and now it's Osuna's turn. Popped up on the left side. Cromer going out. Hollinsworth angling over. Hollinsworth for the catch. 1 away. That will bring up Craig Biggio.
Number 7, Craig Biggio.
It must be his year. Trip Cromer wearing number 97. Antonio Osuna 1-0 against the Astros last year and did not allow an earned run in 5 innings. So Antonio, talking about numbers, not the least bit suspicious, or maybe he's one of those folks who thinks that 13 is a good number. Fouled away, out of play, 1-1. Osuna, only 23 years old. He looks older than that, but he's only 23. He'll be 24 the middle of April. He's from Sinaloa in Mexico. One and one to Biggio. Change, stayed inside. 2-1 the count. Biggio, if he had his druthers, would rather hit second, but he really is a team man, and so for the good of the club, he's leading off. Hit to right field. Mondesi a long way to go, and he's not going to have a play, and the count 2-2. There will be quite a few fellows who are experimenting in the leadoff spot. Biggio is only one of them. Deion Sanders is leading off for Cincinnati. Tony Womack for Pittsburgh. Delino DeShields for the Cardinals. Kilvio Vettis for San Diego. Did you notice San Diego traded Jody Reed to Detroit, so Vettis is their second baseman. Darrell Hamilton is now the leadoff man for the Giants in the dirt. And Houston kept hoping that Brian Hunter would be a regular, but they eventually traded him away to Detroit, and Hunter will be leading off for the Tigers. 3-2 to Biggio. Got him. He knew it. Fastball got him looking. Down he goes. So 8 strikeouts as Brett Butler sits down to take in the action for the remainder of the game. Butler, while he was in there, had the key hit, the bunt single. He also walked, scored a run, and now he has the last couple of innings off. Bob Abreu, the right fielder, coming up. Singled, homered, struck out. Change in there. Good pitch. 0-1. Yeah, that'll make you back out. Kind of interesting to see someone throw a changeup on the first pitch. Fastball. In other words, you expect to use the changeup off a fastball, but he started him with it. 0-2 the count. Scott Radinsky down in the Dodger bullpen. There's strike 3 called to Abreu. 2 more strikeouts for the Dodgers, so they have struck out 9. And at the end of 6.5 innings, Dodgers 4, Astros 1. Dodgers leading the Astros 4-1, and we're going to the bottom of the 7th inning. We have a little on-field shenanigans for the moment. The Dodgers got 4 in the 3rd inning, 6 consecutive base hits. Started by Chan-Ho Park. He singled to right, a drag bunt single by Butler, and then Wilton Guerrero doubled both men home. Mondesi singled home Guerrero. Piazza singled. Kara singled home Mondesi. And the Dodgers, with that 4 in the 3rd inning, have put a smile on Bill Russell's face. Meanwhile, his pitching has been outstanding. Chan-Ho Park struck out 4 in 4 innings. Darren Hall struck out 3 in 2 innings. And for good measure, Antonio Osuna struck out 2. So 9 Astros have bitten the dust. The Dodgers now will have Juan Castro to start it off against Russ Springer. Big curveball for a strike. Castro batted for Wilton Guerrero in the 4th inning and grounded out. Breaking ball missed. Springer had a very high ERA at first glance, almost 5 with Philadelphia, but he pitched very well against the Dodgers. Castro trying to uppercut that fastball, and the count 1-2. So Springer, 6'4", 205-pounder, had been with the Yankees briefly, the Angels, and the Phillies. And Castro the other way. Great snatch by Biggio. Boy, he's something. You see Craig do that on AstroTurf, but now he did exactly the same thing and made the grass look like a rug. Watch the way he goes after it. Wonderful play, because he's a wonderful player. So Biggio, quick as a cat, he was on the grass, up on his feet before you could blink, and made the play. Yes, sir, the pride of Seton Hall, Craig Biggio. Kareem Garcia will now bat for Raul Mondesi. Mondesi had walked, singled, and lined out. And Kareem will check in. Hitting .263 in the spring with a home run and 5 runs batted in. Another youngster waiting for an opportunity. Ball 1. On deck, Mike Piazza. 4-1 Dodgers, bottom of the 7th. Fastball fouled back. The next couple of days, the Dodgers will play Baltimore on Monday, the Mets on Tuesday, and the Florida Marlins on Wednesday. Then after the Wednesday game, the Dodgers fly home to Los Angeles. Thursday is an off date. And then Friday night, Dodger Stadium with the Angels, with opening day April 1. So that'll do it for Garcia, a youngster paying the price of not playing every day. 2 down. Mike Piazza. Singled off Hampton's glove on a little roller, singled to center, and lined out to center. Ball 1. Springer working to his 4th man. He had to pick up when Gagne hit that ball that caught Hampton, I believe, on the hip. Fouled back. 2-1. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Scott Radinsky getting ready. It's been Chan-Ho Park, Darren Hall, Antonio Osuna. 2-1 to Piazza. Mike having a good, solid spring. Came into the game hitting .373. Pop that one up. It'll be Spires. So the Dodgers gone in order in the 7th inning. And at the end, it's 7. Dodgers 4, Astros 1. Friends, be part of a history on April the 5th during the 50th anniversary celebration of Jackie Robinson's historic Major League debut with the Dodgers. There'll be a pregame salute honoring Jackie's legacy. All fans will receive a commemorative piece featuring a pictorial look at the great Hall of Famer's career. Jackie Robinson Night, Saturday, April the 5th. Hope you'll be with us. And remember the number for tickets, 213-224-1-HIT. The Dodgers make some changes. Scott Radinsky will become the 4th pitcher. Kareem Garcia, who batted in Raul Mondesi's spot, stays in right field. And Eddie Williams will finish up for Eric Karros at first base. Radinsky, in 4 games, has worked 3 2/3 innings and has not allowed a run. Ball 1. Dodgers did it all 4 runs in the 3rd inning. The Astro run, a home run by Bob Abreu in the 3rd. Bagwell, Bell, and Gonzalez due up here in the 8th inning. Fly ball into deep left field. Hollingsworth to the track. So Bagwell just hit under it. A long fly ball to left, 1 away. And the batter will be Bell. Derek Bell singled to center in the 1st inning and then struck out in the 3rd and struck out again in the 5th. So Derek is 1 for 3. We're in the 8th inning. Oh! 1-0 the count. Fouled away out of the ballpark, and the count 1-1. The paid attendance today, 5,180. And they have seen, among other things, great Dodger pitching from Chan Ho Park, Darren Hall, Antonio Osuna. 1-1. Ball 2, 2-1. Scotty wants a new ball, so timeout. Two and 1 to Derek. He had a dozen RBIs in 12 games against the Dodgers last year. Although he did not have a home run, he hurt them quite often. Two balls, 2 strikes. One after a pitch that appeared to be outside of the strike zone, but he got enough of it to foul it off. So he kept himself up there. 2-2 to Derek Bell. So first way outside. Now Radinsky comes way inside, and the count 3-2. Under the heading of the best laid plans would be Brian Hunter and Houston. They moved Bell to right field to make room for Hunter, and then they moved Hunter to Detroit, and Bell is the center fielder. So the count 3-2. When you look at Derek Bell's numbers last year, 17 home runs, 113 RBIs, he was certainly an MVP candidate until late in the season when he suffered a thigh injury, and then he finally had to end his season prematurely. Line drive, base hit into left field. So a good, solid ball player, Derek Bell, a one-out single, and the batter will be Luis Gonzalez. Hit number 1 off Radinsky, and hit number 8. Houston had 5 hits, but 1 run off Chan-Ho Park. They had 2 hits against Darren Hall, and now a base hit against Radinsky. Luis Gonzalez hit back to the box, flied to left, and last time up, double to right. First ball swinging, a drive to deep left. Hollingsworth on his horse to pick it off. Tough play, slicing away from him. So a nice play by Todd Hollingsworth. He had to cover a lot of ground.
Number 17, Sean Berry.
So with 2 outs, Sean Berry will be the batter. Sean singled to center, robbed of a hit on a good play by Gagne, and struck out. Sean, born in Santa Monica. He had a birthday yesterday. He's 31 years old. Ball 1. Sean Berry was a sometimes player at Montreal. Then last year he became an everyday player. There were those in Montreal who felt that he couldn't do it every day. Consequently, the trade for Dave Veras. A ground ball to Castro, the quick feed to Cromer, and that will do it in the 8th inning. No runs, a hit, a man left, and at the end of 7.5. Dodgers 4, Astros 1.
1 hit, no errors, 1 left.
It is 4-1 Dodgers, and we're going to the bottom of the 8th inning. Larry Dierker is now making a couple of changes, and we have a reminder: this copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Los Angeles Dodgers Incorporated, which also employs the announcers, intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of the game without the written consent of the Los Angeles Dodgers Incorporated is prohibited. 2 changes: Tony Eusebio behind the plate and Mike Magnanti on the mound. Magnanti, a boy from Glendale, went to John Burroughs, played collegiately at UCLA. And the left-hander is greeted by Eddie Williams, and there's a fly ball to left field. 1 pitch, 1 away. So Mike Magnanti, born in Glendale. He'll be 32 the middle of June. Up and down with Kansas City starting in 1991. So the boy from Glendale and Burbank, I'm sure, has a lot of friends back in Los Angeles watching him work. A strike. Todd Zeal, another Bruin. One ball and 1 strike to count. On deck, Todd Hollingsworth. Checked on the off-speed pitch. A swing, says Jerry Lane, and the count 1-2. Four runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Dodgers. 1 run, 8 hits, and 2 errors for the Astros. 2-2. Craig Biggio has called it a day, so if they get to his spot, there'll be somebody else hitting. Biggio has just about left the field. 2-2. 4-3. hard ground ball. Nice backhand stop by Berry, who throws him out. So the shortstop, who made 22 errors last year, has now healed and makes an excellent play. Well, time once again for the Aflac trivia question. As you probably know, the Dodgers have had the last 5 National League Rookies of the Year. Can you name the last non-Dodger to win the award? We'll give you the answer in the next inning. Todd Hollandsworth, his first appearance. Billy Ashley hit back to the box, fouled out, and struck out. Ball 1. One and 0. Oh, good pitch. Hollandsworth way out in front of it. And the count 1-1. Ball 2. So 2-1 to count to Hollandsworth. 2 out in the 8th. 4-1 in favor of the Dodgers. Hit right off the end of the bat, squirted up to third. Berry can make the play on a fair ball, and Hollandsworth gets a pool hall single. He cued that one. And the batter will be Gagne. Chad Fonville finishing up the game in center field and batting 8th. Ball 1. By the way, we were talking about the fact that Craig Biggio was leaving, but it was Jeff Bagwell who left. Biggio is still here. Bill Spires is now playing first, and Luis Rivera is the Astros shortstop. 1 ball and no strikes to Chad Fonville. Magnati working on the laces on his left shoe. Timeout for the moment. Now he's ready. Four runs, 9 hits for the Dodgers. 1 run, 8 hits for the Astros. And that's hit to center. Derek Bell picks it off, so the Dodgers get a base hit and nothing else. And at the end of 8th, Dodgers 4, Astros 1. We have reached the 9th inning here at Holman Stadium, Vero Beach. The Dodgers leading the Astros 4-1. And let's take a moment and answer the Aflac trivia question. Who's the last non-Dodger to be the National League Rookie of the Year? And the answer? Jeff Bagwell, the National League's top rookie in 1991. In the 9th, Luis Rivera will start it off. Then it'll be Tony Eusebio. Ball 1. Darren Dreifert becomes the 5th Dodger pitcher. He's allowed only 1 run in 10 innings so far this spring. That's pop foul and out of play. Dreifert has been one of the many bright spots on a very bright pitching staff. 7 games, 10 innings, 1 earned run, and that run came on a home run. So really 1 bad pitch. Good sinker. 1 and 2 to Rivera, finishing up at shortstop for Pat Listash. Dodgers won 90 games last year, and that wasn't enough to win the division. But they feel that with pitching such a strong suit, they should improve on that. The Dodgers have a richer, deeper pitching staff than even the Atlanta Braves. Two and two. Now back. Today, Chan Ho Park for 4 innings. Dave Wallace had to be happy with what he saw. 1 run, a home run by Abreu. Then Darren Hall, 2 innings, 3 strikeouts, nothing else. Osuna, 1 inning, 2 strikeouts, nothing else. Radinsky, 1 inning, and now Dreifert. A pitching coach shouldn't ask for much more than that. Now back. Luis Rivera is from Puerto Rico. Just missed. Ball 3. Rivera first came up with Montreal, then went over to the Red Sox, and he was with the Red Sox for about 5 years. Then to the Mets, and now surfaces once again, this time with Houston. Fouled away, and that got the plate umpire, Greg Gibson, on the foot. Luckily wearing the protective shoes, and that took the brunt of the force. Full count to Luis Rivera. Rivera, 33 years old. Ground ball to the right side. Castro is up with it. Boy, he is smooth. He is really a pleasure to watch. Juan Castro. And, of course, he will forever be in the Dodger books. Remember, he was the shortstop that day in Atlanta who went out into shallow left field to handle a pop fly and turn it into a triple play. Well, he is really fun to watch. Graceful, quick hands like a cat. Tony Eusebio, the veteran catcher, at the plate. Big chopper foul. 0-1 to count. Eusebio, big guy out of the Dominican Republic. He's been on the disabled list 4 times in his career, and that slowed him down, but he can hit. For Houston, he's hit .296, .299, and last year .270. Big chopper up the middle. Castro backhands, throws on a bounce, and not in time. What a remarkable effort by Juan Castro. Castro backhanding it and throwing, didn't have a chance to set. And look at this. Looks like he might have beaten him, but not to Jerry Lane, the first base umpire. And Eusebio will give way to a pinch runner, number 6, James Mouton, who had been out with a fractured wrist. So Mouton running, and Bill Spires at the plate. So a dazzling effort by Castro. Spires, a shortstop and a first baseman, good man to have around. Line drive whistled over center field, and just like that, runners at first and second with 1 out. And the batter will be Craig Biggio. So Biggio coming up. 1 out. Mouton at second, Spires at first. Biggio struck out, flied to right, doubled to left, and struck out. So 1 for 4. One out, ninth inning, 4-1 Dodgers. So with one out, Eusebio an infield single, then Spires a solid single, and here is Biggio. The Dodgers have to be very, very careful here. He's got enough power to hit it out and get the game even. 0-1. Biggio had a home run and 3 RBIs against the Dodgers last year. But he had 15 home runs, and twice he's hit better than 20 home runs in a season. 22 in 95, 21 in 93. High slider, 1-1. So Darren Dreifert, giving up 2 hits, now suddenly looking at the potential tying run at the plate. One and one. 2 balls, 1 strike. Runs, 9 hits for the Dodgers, 1 run, 10 hits for the Astros. Astros have left 8. Dodgers have left 7. And now Dreifert is really in trouble. He's 3-1 on Biggio. So Park, Hall, Osuna, and Radinsky have all pitched very well. And now for the first time, Dave Wallace has a bit of a frown on his face. 3-1. Hit in the air, foul off first. Williams along with Garcia, but neither man will have a play. Well back in. 3-2 the count. And there's where the ball wound up. Thank you very much. You can see the joy on the face of that youngster wearing an Astro shirt, and his buddy in front of him frustrated over the near miss. 3-2. James Mouton at second, Bill Spires at first, 1 out. And he walked him to load the bases. So Dreifert hits a bump in the road after a magnificent spring. Suddenly he's wobbly. And Bob Abreu coming up, the young right fielder, who singled to center, homered to right, and then struck out twice. Abreu, the right fielder, up there now with bases loaded, 1 out in the 9th inning. Thomas Howard comes out on deck. Ball 1. So Dreifert trying not to get discouraged. His ratio coming into today's game, to show you how he pitched this spring: 1 earned run in 10 innings, 10 strikeouts, and only 2 walks. Fouled away. But of course, at this stage in the spring, you wonder if you get to that tired arm stage. And Dreifert has given up 2 singles and a walk. Down the line from third, James Mouton. At second, Bill Spires. And at first, Craig Biggio. 4-1 Dodgers, 9th inning, 1 out. Ground ball by the diving Williams into right field. And 1 run is in. Here comes another. And suddenly it is 4-3 in favor of the Dodgers. And Dreifert is not fooling anybody. And Dave Wallace going out to talk to him. So 3 hits and 2 runs off Dreifert here in the 9th inning. The tying run is now at second base. And Thomas Howard will be the batter. Here's that shot into the hole. Eddie Williams diving, but couldn't do it. And Garcia never had a play. So instead of Jeff Bagwell, Thomas Howard is the batter. We'll see whether that's a huge break for the Dodgers or not. Bagwell coming out of the game last inning. So Dreifert battling to hold on to the lead. 4 runs, 9 hits for the Dodgers, 3 runs, and 11 hits for the Astros. And with 1 out, 2 on, Thomas Howard. Derek Bell on deck. That's the trouble with Dreifert. He's not getting that first pitch over. He's pitching behind to all the hitters. He got his first man, Rivera. But then Eusebio, the single up the middle. Spires a single up the middle. Then he walked Biggio, and Abreu single to right. High fly ball into right center. It will be Garcia. And the runners hold as Kareem gets it back in. So Howard, a fly ball to right. 2 down in the 9th. And Derek Bell standing between the Dodgers and their 11th win in the spring. Bell singled to center in the first inning. Struck out in the 3rd. Struck out in the 5th. Those 2 strikeouts were against Chan-Ho Park. And then in the 8th inning, he singled against Scott Radinsky. So he's 2 for 4. 2 on, 2 out, 4-3 Dodgers in the 9th. On the hands. 0-1. That's the rare hitter where Dreifert has been able to get a strike on the first pitch. Oh, 0-1 to Bell. 1-1. On deck, left-hand hitter Luis Gonzalez. Line drive, a leaping catch by Castro, and Dreifert is out of the inning, but boy is he lucky. Juan Castro spearing a bullet that would have easily tied up the game. So Dreifert winds up giving up 2 runs, 3 hits, a walk, and a BB that's found its way into Castro's glove. So the Dodgers win it 4-3. We'll be right back. Once again, the final score, the Dodgers 4 and the Astros 3. Dodger Baseball has been brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft to remind you it's time for a good old macro brew. By Nissan to remind you that life is a journey. Enjoy the ride. By Aflac, insuring over 40 million people worldwide. By the Southern California Ford dealers, home of 5 of the 10 best-selling vehicles in America. See your Ford dealer today. By Coca-Cola Classic, always in the game, always Coca-Cola. And by Southwest Airlines, with fares so low, you have the freedom to go places and do things you never thought possible. Fly Southwest Airlines. For Ross Porter and Rick Monday, this is Vin Scully inviting you to stay tuned for the postgame show coming right up.